G'day trendsetters. Today I wanted to just talk about the bell curve. What's the bell curve? Well, it looks a bit like this. So you see all those dots all over the bell curve, that's men and women, that's humans. Now, in the middle, there's a lot of dots. So that represents average Joe and Jane. So people like myself that are only mildly intelligent. So at one end you've got the bums on the street, and at the other end you've got your geniuses, IQs of 180, 200, whatever. And you see there's not too many geniuses. Well, there's a lot less geniuses and there's a lot less bums on the street, but you've got your one extreme to the other, okay? And as you can see, most people are in the average Joe category, and not very many people are in those outer extremities. Now, when you get to the outer extremities, you get a very, very high disproportionate representation of males. So bums on the street are normally male. There are female bums, but there's not that many of them. You don't normally, apart from in the Depression or, next year, you don't see too many women on the street. They're generally looked after, women and children are looked after and cared for by the majority. They don't end up on the street. We're overrepresented by men at that lower end. You go all the way through to the other end and it's the same. Most of the geniuses are men. Most of the super intelligent people are men. Now that doesn't mean to say that there is not super intelligent females, of course there is. But there's a far, far higher probability that it'll be male. So at the extremities, everything gets male, basically. So trying to interfere with that bell curve, to interfere with nature, and it's the same as most men are stronger than most women. In a general rule, men have denser bones, stronger muscles, stronger tendons. And if you couple that with killer instinct, you get a great hunter, a great fighter, a great protector, a great provider. And trying to interfere with nature and somehow shovel women into those extremities. So saying we should have more women geniuses is like saying we should have more women bums. We don't want that. We don't need that. So, like I said in their previous podcast, everyone's right where they damn well should be. And if they're not, they should change it. We're always striving to be somewhere better. But, I can dream about being a rocket scientist, but I'm basically too dumb. I ain't got the mental capacity to work it out, and I'm not interested. If you're interested in something, you will learn it to the nth degree. You don't have to be the smartest person in the room to want to be a violinist in a symphony orchestra. You're just going to have to practice a lot, and maybe a lot more than some of the others if you're not quite as adept at it. But, it is true that hard work pays off, but no amount of hard work will turn me into Einstein. In a free market system, I can make my life much better by being hardworking, and I can look after my family much better by being hardworking, but I can't raise my IQ more than a few points. But in a free market system, I can strive and I can work hard and make my life much better than it otherwise would be. And the alternative to that is laziness and make my life worse than it should be. But I can't move the needle that much. I can't be an Einstein. I can't discover the theory of relativity. It's just not going to happen. No different to most of us are not going to be astronauts. So, you know, let's not be trying to manipulate everything and trying to force some agenda on the way things should be. Let's just let things fall where the chips where they may, and let nature take its course. And don't be trying to force an issue on something where people that may be included in there maybe have no interest. You know, that I met a lady once that her job was to try and recruit more women into the military, to try and what do they call it? Close the gap or something, or try and equalise things. But just like the Inflation Reduction Act, if you try and arbitrarily mess with the economy, mess with the way things are, or if you have a central bank that tries to manipulate interest rates, you end up with a disaster. You end up with more inequality, more poverty, like the Inflation Reduction Act, more inflation. So that's just something that I learned along the way, was the bell curve. And you can call me a misogynist if you like, whatever that is, and an oppressor, but you can't change nature, guys. You just can't. All you do is make things worse. That's enough for today. Hope you had a nice walk. See you on the next one. Here's my research assistant. That's Topaz the cat. How are you, darling? Good cat.